Giant Foursquare.
Hi everybody, it's Mr. Barton for Victory Physical Education Online, and we're here today to talk about a game called Giant Foursquare. So Giant Foursquare is a game that I play with my 5th through 8th graders. You could use it at the lower grade levels. You want to use a smaller ball as far as equipment. And for equipment, you're going to need a Omnikin ball. They're very light. This happens to be the 36-inch Omnikin ball. You could use a bigger one if you wanted to. You could use a smaller one. I would recommend that for maybe the smaller kids or little kids if you to do this with the maybe 3rd or 4th graders. And you're also going to need some cones. All right, I use a whole bunch of these, and I place them on the gym floor, and I make a 4 quarters. So I just kind of put 2 lines of cones, making 4 quarters. All right, and then I separate the teams into 4 equal teams. So that's what you're going to need. The setup. This is probably best played inside, although you could play it outside as well. So the object of this game is to get to the A square. So let's say this is the A square, this is the B square, C square, D square. So you're trying to get your team into the A square. All right. You do that by keeping the ball off of the floor in your section. It can also not touch the walls or the ceilings. And if you have any low-hanging obstacles, you can kind of determine whether or not you want the students to have the ball hit that or not. All right, so I have some hanging ropes. I let them, if the ball hits off the hanging ropes, they're allowed to play it. It's in play, but if it hits the curtain that we have in our gym, it's out of play. So you have to make sure the students know what the ball can touch and what it can't touch. So the object, obviously, is to get into the A square and score points. You do that by not allowing the ball to land in your section or be responsible for having the ball hit something out of bounds. So it starts off with in the A square, because it always starts off in the A square, and they serve it. So they have 2 people hold the ball. One person comes from underneath, and they kind of punch that ball up in the air, sending it up over people's heads. They can serve it into any square they want. They just cannot land in their square. So let's say that A serves it, goes to B. They have to keep the ball off the floor and in their section, and then pass it to another section where they're trying to keep it off the floor and not touching any of the out-of-bounds areas. So at some point, the ball finds a spot to land in. Let's say that it lands in the B square. Everybody from the B square would then go to the D square. D square would then go to the C, and the C would go to the B. But A, if they're still there, scores 1 point. So the object here is to score, I usually say 11 points, the first to 11. So A would then serve again, but now they have 1 point in the game. And then when they serve, again, they can serve to any square as long as it's not their own, has to leave their square. And if they are responsible for having the ball, let's say that A serves to B, B hits it back, and A doesn't return it, lands in their square, A has to go to D, D goes to C, C goes to B, and now we have a new team in there in the A square, and they would have 0 points. But that A team that left, let's say they leave with 1 point, okay, they could get back in that A square and then add to their score. So again, I usually play to 11. If we get to 11, we obviously start a new game. But this is a lot of fun. It gets everybody involved. I usually tell them to spread out and make sure that they're communicating with one another. But Giant Foursquare is a big hit, and they love it. Again, you could play this inside. I recommend it inside, or you could play it outside. And it is for grades probably 3 through 8th, all right? But you might want to use a little smaller ball if you have a choice, maybe a little smaller Omnikin ball with the younger grades, all right? That is Giant Foursquare. Tune in. You're going to see it in action. And as always, thanks for watching.